Welcome to White Manga. I am Major Manga, and this is Devil Fruits Explained. I'll start off with the miscellaneous information that we know about Devil Fruits, like how they reincarnate, the history, and what they... just miscellaneous things. Well, their history... Well, they reincarnate by, you eat a fruit, you have the powers, you die, the power finds a new fruit. And, well, there's a way that you can skip finding the fruit through cannibalism, really. And that has been shown with Big Mom, who ate Mother Caramel. Well, ate Mother Caramel. It's not really, it was never shown, it wasn't really expanded on, but it was very heavily hinted that Big Mom ate Father Caramel. So, if you say ate a person, then you could skip the whole looking for the fruit. You could just gain the fruit immediately. And the way that fruits are, there's like a devil fruit encyclopedia. So my thought on how devil fruits reincarnate is that once a person dies, the power goes finds the nearest fruit that looks that is the same fruit that it normally reincarnates as. So say if it's pineapple, say if a person dies and their fruit looked like a pineapple, it'll go to the nearest pineapple and turn it into the fruit and give it its power. Or people think that it's just to the nearest fruit and it turns it into, say an apple, then a pineapple. The power goes to the apple, then turns it into a pineapple. Or it could just be the power goes to the fruit and then gives it swirls. I don't really like those theories. I think it's just to the nearest fruit that looks similar. Now, time for the history. We don't know where devil fruits come from. It's just like, they're very old, and even some people think that devil fruits are just myths. So, say if you're in the Four Blues, you might not actually you could live your whole life without running into a devil fruit user. So, they're sometimes myths. Now, there's not really much to talk about, like explanations, besides the main weakness of a devil fruit being that you can't swim. And I'll get on to categories, which are like how the fruits are listed. Like you got Zoan, you got Logia, and then you have Paramecia. You have like subcategories of each one. Like I'll get on to Zoans. Like you have the regular Zoan fruits, which are like the herbivores. Like say goats, sheep, cows. Then you have the carnivorous zone, which are like lions, leopards, and wolves, which are bigger, stronger, and more powerful fruits. Then you have the ancient zones, which are like ancient beasts, like say X-Drakes, king, queens fruits, and even like doesn't have to be like they're mainly dinosaurs, but they can also be like ancient beasts, like say a mammoth, like Drax fruit. Then you have the mythical zones, which are basically the rarest kind of devil fruit. It's been stated that a mythical zone is even rarer than a Logia, which is pretty much shown in this series that we've only really seen like five mythical zones and like 11 Logias, but most of the Logias we've seen are like in pre-time skip. I actually do want to see like more Logias show up in this series. Like, it makes no sense how after Punk Hazard we haven't gotten any new Logias. But I'm fine with like mythical zones. They are awesome. It's just like you have a mythical animal, but you also gain a superpower. Like Marco's fruit gives you the powers of flames that allows you to heal, which basically makes him immortal. Well, he's not immortal, but he heals really quick. Now, Logia. Logias are like you turn into an element or a naturally occurring thing, is what it's stated to be. What a Logia is, a naturally occurring thing. It allows you to turn into and create that substance, like lava for Akainu and ice for Aokiji. Like those are very powerful abilities, like being able to create and turn your body into the element. That is a pre-time skip. That was the most powerful type of fruit. Nobody beats a Logia pre-time skip. But post time skip and with the introduction of Haki, that's been getting rid of. But after the time skip, we see all these like Logias are shown to be not the greatest. But honestly, I'd love to see more Logias. That's my personal thing. I want to see more Logias, like say a Woodwood Logia. Like we could bring in another Admiral, like Greenbull. I think I might explain the Marines later, but I want to like have Greenbull to have like a plant Logia. That would be awesome. And also, like I read the Return to Reverie chapters, and they also gave an idea of a person who has a fruit that hasn't been explained what it is, but it could possibly be a Logia, since all they have to be is naturally occurring things, which is Korosu's Crow Fruit. If you read the Return to Reverie chapters, I was just thinking, oh, it's just another special Paramecia, which we'll get to later. The Return to Reverie chapters say that Korosu's fruit is a Logia, and it kind of makes sense, because crows are naturally occurring, thus it could be a Logia. Crows are naturally occurring, so it really does help that, help the cause of that, yeah, it might be a Logia. Korosu's fruit is just so random because it has animals like a Zoan type, but it's also turning him into multiple birds. So that's why there's a bit of confusion about what his fruit could be. Time to get to Paramecia. Paramecia is the most broadest stroke for all like fruits. They are the most common. I think it's calculated that there have been like 100 different fruits in One Piece, and 72 of them, maybe even more of that, are like Paramecia. And Paramecias can be broken down into a few different things. There ain't official categories, but there are different ones, like Paramecias that allow you to create things like, say, Robin's Hida no Mi, which allows her to sprout any limbs on her body, anywhere. Don Quixote Doflamingo is a string fruit, and I think those are two pretty good examples. Enhancement fruits like Luffy's fruit that allows him to turn into rubber, Daz Bone's Blade fruit, and Baby Five's Gun fruit. Well, I don't remember what it is, but it basically allows you to turn into any weapon, so I'll get to like upgraded fruits later, but that's a good example. Then you have like just manipulating types of fruits, which I've seen. I can only think of one off the top of my head, which is like Jewelry Bonnie's aging fruit, which allows her to turn her age down, turn herself into a little kid, turn herself into an old granny, or alter other people's ages, like say turn people into a baby or turn somebody into an old man. That's a pretty good fruit. I'd say that is a pretty overpowered fruit. When I made my like top 10 fruits, I should have had that on the list. That is an amazingly overpowered fruit. Now, time for special Paramecias. We only really know one special Paramecia. Katakuri's special Paramecia, which is a pretty effective fruit. Like, it's got the ability, it's basically a Logia, but it's just like it can't be categorized as a Logia because it's not a naturally occurring thing. Mochi is not a naturally occurring thing. Humanity makes it. But it has the same properties of a Logia. That's why it's considered. And plus, it is another example of an upgraded fruit. Like, it's got stretchy abilities, and it's just better than Luffy's fruit. So when Katakuri fought Luffy, it was basically, whatever you can do, I can do better. Just like that. Katakuri is a master of his fruit. And time to get to, and on the way of mastering his fruit, it is time for Awakenings. Awakenings are a pretty powerful thing. The only real thing we have are like the Toros from like Impel Down, like the Beastly Guards, which are for Zoan, the Katakuri and Doflamingo for Paramecia, and none for like Logia, although there are some theories about what a Logia awakening might be. Okay, Zoan awakenings allow you to enter into a fourth form, which increases your physical strength and stats, allows you to punch and move faster and recover incredibly fast. Minotauros, I think it was from Impale Down. If I get the name wrong, I'll have it down below. He can heal and recover really fast from being damaged. Although a Zoan Awakening is really minimizes your intelligence. Now another, it's mainly the blandest of the awakenings, because Zoans aren't really the most exciting, but they are still pretty good. Like, then you have the awakenings for the Paramecias. The Paramecias allow you to turn your environment into like your element. Like Don Quixote Doflamingo Strings, he could make an entire city into a razor wire death trap. And Katakuri could just turn the entire ground around you into a sticky substance that you could get trapped in. And they can manipulate it however they like. Awakenings for the Paramecia class is we've only really seen 2 of them, but people have just said that, oh, that's how awakenings work. Now, Logia Awakenings. Nobody knows what they are. We haven't seen a Logia Awakening, but we do have theories, like say, and we don't know what an awakening truly is. Like, do you awaken the fruit and this always happens? Like, say, do you awaken the fruit, but it's just for you, or do you awaken the fruit and everybody afterwards can use the power? Like that. Or, like, in the Logia cases, we could have, like, you know, I forget that place. The place where Robin was, Ennie's Lobby. When Ennie's Lobby, it's a place of always light. It's never dark there. So people have theorized that is because of the Pika Pika Nomi being awakened with a previous user, so it's always shining there. Or like Raiden Island, which is always raining down lightning. Punk Hazard, it's just Logia's Awakening always turn the environment into to that element. Like if you see Punk Hazard, it's basically a Pokeball. Ake Inu and Aokiji fought that and basically wasted the place. After 2 years, it's still a lava hell zone and a frosty hell. I'm just saying. And that's all we really know about Devil Fruit. I do hope to do a Luffy's powers explained, and hopefully do a Haki explain. So that's it. I am WaveManga. I am Agent Manga, and I would like you to subscribe, like the video, and share with a friend. And this is Wave of Manga.